Today's presentation is actually, say, a composite of many ones done in the past, including the anger management, time management. You'll get to know as we proceed further. I really hope you get a lot out of today's presentation. As usual, the presentation would be 1 hour, 15 minutes or so, maximum, including queries. The plan is always to say finish maximum by 9. That is the reason I start on time. And as I go live today, our say guidelines for 1st October came today from our state government, and our night curfew has been abolished. Our say curfew for Sunday has been eliminated, and technically life is back to normal, at least from the government side. So obviously now these sessions are lined up. I'll be doing say some tuning part for my patients, and that is the reason I was actually say planning to wind up by 30th, but unfortunately or fortunately for you, these 3 sessions coming up are say live now in the coming 3 days. So otherwise 30th or 1st would have been my last day, when actually say things would have been uh, much better controlled in a way. So I'm live now, so let me share my screen so that I can be there. So I hope the screen is visible to you. Okay.
So,
It's visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So
yes, sir.
yes, thank you. So stress management is one of the vital things which all dentists need to pay attention to, because this is one thing which actually say influences a lot. And believe me, it can be the game changer for many of us. What all effects does it have on us? How are men and men and women, or males and females, different in these aspects? We'll be discussing all of these aspects today in stress management for dentists. Believe me, stress management can be a long and say tiring topic. You actually get tired mentally listening to stress management. I've tried to actually limit my presentation to only for the stress related to dentistry. We can have lot many stresses in our life, but I've tried. Yes, there might be some overlap in journal things, but I've tried to. I and my co-speaker have tried to do that in today's presentation. So let's begin. So all my presentations always begin with thanking the Lord Almighty, who's given me much more than what I deserve. So characteristically, today's colors are say pink and purple, or pink and violet, whatever it is, because I always say falter in doing or say going about these colors. So this is my brief biodata. You all are aware of it. So at any point of time you feel any say problem, let me know. So this is session number 13 for practice management groups, ever since the demo sessions I started in August. So this is session number 13. Unlucky for some, but lucky for me many times. So topics for today would be stress management for dentists in reaction to various situations. The practical situations, then the practical answers we are going to have. So, what exactly is stress? We all know that it is the body's reaction to, say, any adjustment, any change, any response. It is sometimes also known as the fight and the flight syndrome. We all know that, because there is an adrenaline rush and sometimes responses happen. And our body reacts to such changes. It may be physical, mental, emotional. And the प्रॉब्लम विद स्ट्रेस इज दैट हम अंदर से भी ले सकते हैं और किसी से भी ले सकते हैं और किसी को देख के भी ले सकते हैं. It can be experienced in external situations, our own body, our own thought process even. So without doing anything, our brain can also say lead us to such a situation where we actually say can have this change in our response. So what exactly can be the stressful situation for dentists? It can be say urgent work deadline, या मेरे एरिया में क्लिनिक्स बहुत सारे हो गए हैं जी, इस कारण मैं स्ट्रेस में हूँ. देन कोरोना के कारण मेरा तो बेड़ा गर्क हो गया, मैं क्या करूँगा. देन ट्रैफिक जैम है, आज क्लिनिक में इंपॉर्टेंट एफएमआर का केस है. देन जॉब कटिंग हो रही है कोरोना के कारण, तो शायद मेरी जॉब चली जाए. देन आई एम नॉट एक्चुअली दैट फाइनेंशियली साउंड बिकॉज मैंने बहुत इन्वेस्ट कर दिया क्लिनिक पे, मेरे पास सेविंग्स नहीं है. So all these actually induce changes in our body. It can be more in our mind, less in our body, but it can be vice versa too. So you really need to understand that it is a big killer. Stress is known to be a big killer. So work related stress can actually be positive also sometimes, and some amount of stress is natural to us. Nobody can say that I am totally stress free. Nobody can be. But yes, some amount of stress induces some amount of urgency in our life, and the urgent and the important thing kind of say phenomenon, and we actually say react to it, and which can be positive for us. But then when it turns bad, and excess of everything is bad, we all know that, then it starts affecting our mind and our body, our physical state, first of all. So, dentistry is a big stress hazard. We all know that it is an occupational stress and results in, say, affecting our health big time. So we need to realize that stress in dentistry is not uncommon. Like every profession, dentistry also has its bane and boon, but dentistry needs to be taken care of in a way that it does not affect our personal and professional life. The effect can be dual. The dentistry effect, stress of dentistry carrying on to our personal life, and the effect of our personal life stress affecting our dentistry. So both the things are mutual. We need to understand that. And Time Magazine survey 2015, 16, 17, for 3 continuous years, dentistry was determined as the most, say, stressful profession. Even I was surprised how, but yes, I really used to think that coal mine workers who say work in say friendly conditions, almost 40, 50, 60 feet deep inside the earth, they said do the digging part. I believe that was one of the most stressful professions along with many others. But dentistry, because it was actually a combination of physical, mental, emotional, psychological, and all kinds of stresses combined. That is why dentistry was the most stressful of all the healthcare professions. Believe me, whenever I shared this thing with my colleagues, medical or any other, say, humanities or commerce colleagues, they used to laugh at me. डेंटिस्ट को क्या हो जाएगा, खड़े तो रहते हो सारा दिन या बैठ के तो काम करते हो आराम से मजे से, तुम्हारे को क्या टेंशन है, इतने इतने तुम पैसे छापते हो. For the outside world, the dentistry or the life of a dentist is a very rosy one. They forget that we have higher costs also, and if somebody is charging more, he does not need to be necessarily earning more. It is again a topic of someday again, cost versus the expense benefit. So we all are actually, say, under the stress of occupational, under the, say, load of occupational stress. So what will happen when we are more stressed? Nothing can be, say, totally uh, risk free, if I may say so. What happens? The quality of work will get deteriorated. It can be vice versa, as I said, can be personal stress on dentistry or dentistry on your personal life, any kind. The quality of work, most likely dentistry will get deteriorated because that is the prime time we spend in our profession. Obviously, when quality goes down, the productivity and efficiency also goes down, and overall quality of healthcare service which we render is affected. And the problem is that we all try to be Amir Khan. We all try to be perfectionists. I used to think that this is a syndrome most common with Virgos like me, that we are perfectionists by star sign and we try to do that. But I found off late that many dentists, irrespective of their star sign, usually do try to be a perfectionist. And in that zeal, it leads to actually, say, meeting patients' high aesthetic demands. Then we want technical perfection, lab से इतना सा मार्जिन कम आए, उसको खाने को दौड़ते हैं हम लोग. देन अपग्रेडेशन टू न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी की हम लोग को अपडेट करना है, ज़रूरी करना है, वेदर और नॉट वी वांट इट और नॉट. सबने स्कैनर ले लिया, अब मेरा टाइम आ गया मैं स्कैनर ले लूँ. चाहे क्राउन ब्रिज के हम पेशेंट्स कम कर रहे हो, चाहे हमारा मोड ऑफ अर्निंग माइट बी रूट कनाल्स, we don't actually understand. Then financial constraints, loan ke liye jao, all these things, increased competition with your neighborhood dentist. These are all major stress factors for any dentist. And believe me, stress can be natural also, invited also, invoked also, and inbred also. It is not under your control also. Sometimes we really need to say understand. So for people who are younger than us comparatively, I'm talking of the say practitioners now. I'm talking of the UGs or the PGs. For them, their biggest stress is clearing the exams, competing for grades, fear of failing, inadequate time for relaxation, performing their duties well, and again their increased level of workload, especially for the PG students. So I say the statement in many of my say practice management lectures. I say that I am proud enough to say, and I can fondly say that BDS final year is the toughest UG curriculum out of any study in India, be it a final year MBBS also. The amount of stress we undergo with the kind of number of subjects we have and the number of workload we have, apart from our sub stage, our exams, many other things. We actually, and all that to be done in less than 1 year, sometimes 9 to 10 months. BDS final year is the toughest, and we should be proud enough to say that. And there is no doubt in and being proud about this aspect. Even more than the MBBS, I can dare say that so many subjects. I counted at my final year time. Yes, counting the dental jurisprudence also, we had 23 subjects. If we just segregated separately, yes, the system curriculum has changed a bit now, but yes, even still, the load is not lesser comparatively. So we actually get to say face the realities of stress in dentistry. Unless we face them, unless we know them, we actually won't be able to say really guide about them. So let's see some data. I just gave you the say numbers. Otherwise, let's see the numbers in terms of say incidence of diseases. Among the dentists, higher incidence of cardiovascular disease, ulcers, colitis, hypertension, lower back pain, eye strains, all these are even depression and suicide. These are actually higher incidence than other medical colleagues. And the suicide rate of dentists is actually more than twice the rate of general population and almost 3 times higher than that of the medical or the other health workers. We really need to understand or take these figures into account. And emotional illness ranks third in order of frequency of health problems among dentists. By the general population, it may be 10th. Then coronary disease and high blood pressure, 25% more in dentists than in general population. Then dentists have psychoneurotic disorders at the rate of 2.5 times than MBBS or other physicians. And the number one killer of any dentist is stress related cardiovascular disease. रोज हमारी किसी ना किसी से लड़ाई होती है. Believe me, every profession will not face this thing, but dentist surely faces this thing. या staff से, assistant से, या associate से, या लैब से, या बच्चों से, या बीवी से, या किसी को फ्रेंड से, किसी ना किसी से हर डेंटिस्ट की मोर और लेस लड़ाई होती है. वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट दिस इज द हिडन स्ट्रेस which is actually coming out, and we are not doing any favor to ourselves. We are actually killing ourselves only. So the best for you is to actually say get rid of this stress. You guys will say, sir, it is easier said than done, but yes, there is always say sunshine after sunset. Remember that. So what are the causes of stress in our profession? The major causes of stress in dentistry. सबसे बड़ी चीज solitary से confinement. सारा दिन 7/9, 10/10, 10/8, whatever size, एक ऑपरेटरी में हम लोग सारा दिन काम करते हैं. And believe me, that can be is that whatever jovial environment you may have in clinic, it is say at the back of the mind, it does make a difference. Then isolation. Most of the dentists, around 80 to 85 as per data available, 80 to 85% of dentists are single to double chair practice, and they practice alone without any associate, without any say, of course maybe without maybe sometimes occasionally with a visiting dentist or a consultant visiting them, but more of the time they're handling their OPD themselves. 80 to 85 is a huge number. Yes, 15 to 20 maybe a different way, but sometimes we always say जब टेंशन हो ना तो किसी से बात कर लेनी चाहिए, बात करने से ही बात बनती है. But when you have no one to talk, and we sometimes don't feel that associates or assistants might be that having that much acumen in their IQ and or EQ, even emotional and the intelligent quotient, and we feel that we can't talk out with them. So what we need is a peer or a friend or a shoulder to cry upon, to solve, to share, to talk it upon. Unless we talk, we can't actually solve our problem. So isolation is one of the biggest reasons for us. Then again, the Amir Khan syndrome, stress of perfection, the relentless pursuit of perfection and permanence is actually a major cause. And halka sa bhi kahin deficiency reh jaye, we always say get frustrated. Then economic pressure, loans, कोविड आ गया, सोने पे सुहागा पड़ गया, मॉरेटोरियम आया, लेकिन उसके साथ में एसोसिएटेड हायर रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट आया, या आप से नो वेविंग ऑफ इंटरेस्ट आया, इंस्टॉलमेंट बढ़ गई आपकी, अदरवाइज कुछ नहीं फर्क पड़ा. सो दीज आर अ फ्यू थिंग्स विच एक्चुअली से प्ले अ रोल. नाउ एड टू दैट टाइम प्रेशर. सुबह हम लोग टाइम पे उठते नहीं है, सबसे बड़ा बेन. मी एंड डॉक्टर वंदना डिस्कस्ड इन द टाइम मैनेजमेंट सेशन ऑन 16th of September. टाइम मैनेजमेंट कैसे करनी है. सुबह जल्दी उठेंगे ना अगर आप, तो आई कैन वाउच फॉर इट, यू विल हैव सो मेनी आवर्स एट योर डिस्पोजल. सुबह के 2 घंटे आपके दिन के 4 घंटे के बराबर होंगे. easier said than done, maybe. I'm a early riser, I have been an early bird since my childhood. Some things come naturally to me, so I can say that my day will have 26 to 27 hours, and I want all of you to have that as well. And you can also have, if you utilize the early morning time. A Murphy's law hota na ek, if anything can go wrong, it will go wrong, and usually at the worst possible time. We are getting late for something and our tire gets punctured. हम ऑलरेडी 10 मिनट घर से लेट निकले थे, देन वी हैव नो एक्सक्यूज. लोग पंजाब में एक ट्रेंड बहुत कॉमन है, दे से इन अ जोकिंग वे दैट पंजाबी के 5 मिनट और लेडीज के 2 मिनट, या वाइस वर्सा, बंदे के 2 मिनट और लेडीज के 5 मिनट कभी खत्म नहीं होते. कहाँ हो आप? मैं बस आ गया 2 मिनट में. आप कितनी देर में तैयार हो जाओगे? बस 5 मिनट में तैयार हो रही हूँ. All those things, 2 minutes and 5 minutes, they never end. They can go even up to hours. That is famous in Punjab. अब पंजाब में एक और चीज फेमस है, अगर 10 बजे अपॉइंटमेंट है तो हम घड़ी देखते हैं, 10:05 हो गया यार, निकलना चाहिए. My God, you were supposed to reach there by 10. You at 10:05 you are looking at the watch in your home and saying हाँ मेरी अपॉइंटमेंट थी, and then you say that थोड़ा ट्रैफिक में फंस गया, ये हो गया, वो हो गया. You can't blame traffic all the time, at least in tier 2 cities like me. Yes, construction is going on, half of my city is dug up, but still you can't blame the traffic for everything. Then compromise treatment frustration. We actually say we are taught to do things perfectly. We are, मेरे को याद है जो कॉलेज में फर्स्ट डेंटल मटेरियल में एक्सरसाइज दी गई थी, 1x1 इंच का, या 1x1 इफ आई रिमेम्बर करेक्टली 3x3 or 4x4 इंच का एक स्क्वायर ब्लॉक बनाना था. आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी हैव यू अंडरगॉन दैट, बट वी वर सपोज्ड टू मेक दैट दिस ऑलमोस्ट दिस साइज, ऑलमोस्ट से 3 to 4 inches by 4 inches ब्लॉक. बिलीव मी, किसी का दूसरी, किसी का तीसरी, किसी का चौथी, किसी का 5वीं बारी में बन गया. मैं अकेला था जिसने 32 बार बनाया था, और 32वीं बार भी इम्परफेक्ट था. एंड आई हैव नो qualms in admitting that. I was never a talented guy in terms of handwork. It is only by my regular work that I developed this art. And yes, certain things are not inbred; they have to be learned a hard way. And 32 बार भी बनाने के बाद भी मैडम ने यही बोला, तू जा भाई जा, तू नहीं बना पाएगा, जा तू. And coming to second year pre-ortho, बिलीव मी, सबसे पहले वायर मैंने स्ट्रेट की थी, रोल ग्लास स्लैब पे करती थी. सारे हॉस्टल की, सारे गर्ल्स हॉस्टल की मैंने वायर सीधी की थी. मेरे दोस्त मेरे को गालियां निकालते थे, इनमें से कोई लड़की तेरे से फंसनी नहीं है, यू आर नॉट दैट गुड लुकिंग, बट यू आर वेस्टिंग योर टाइम एंड नाइट. मैं क्या, मैं उसके लिए कर ही नहीं रहा हूँ. मेरा अपना है, मेरे को पता है, मैं काम करके काम सीखता हूँ, मैं गलती करूंगा तभी सीखूंगा. दैट इज व्हाई आई लर्न. तो अगले दिन उन सबको वायर मिल जाती थी क्योंकि मैं करके देता था. Many of my colleagues would be watching this video later on, and they can vouch for it. I'm not telling a lie for both the thing, for POP thing and say the wire thing. देन पेशेंट एंग्जाइटी, पेशेंट आप स्ट्रेस में नहीं है, आप नॉर्मल हैं, लेकिन पेशेंट आके आपको स्ट्रेस देगा, डॉक्टर क्या होगा, डॉक्टर मेरा ब्लड प्रेशर तो नहीं बढ़ेगा, डॉक्टर इंजेक्शन आपने लगा दी, मेरे दिल की धड़कन तेज होगी, डॉक्टर मुझे पसीना आ रहा है, डॉक्टर देखिए मेरे को कुछ हो रहा है. These kind of things actually say lead to more stress in your life, even if you try to act normal, or even if you are normal actually. Then the biggest thing, we actually say have a lack of exercise in our schedule. Many of us do not. We all have a sedentary lifestyle. We ought to understand that some amount of exercise, maybe a stair, say up and down, maybe a jog, maybe a gym, whatever you feel comfortable, you need to do that, because otherwise it will lead to a faster degeneration and more of stress. And exercise is a big, say, burnout, or a big, say, stress killer, if I can say so. Then we actually, it is a very strange thing, but psychology has shown that personality of the dentist, there are certain personality traits which actually say कि अगर एक अच्छे डेंटिस्ट में क्या गुण होने चाहिए, लेकिन वो गुण जो हैं वो डिप्रेशन, ड्रग अल्कोहल अब्यूज, और से इवन अ रिस्क ऑफ सुसाइड में भी पाए जाते हैं. सो देयर इज अ वेरी बिग ओवरलैप बिटवीन दैट. And what are those traits? Compulsive attention to detail. There is nothing wrong in that. Meticulous, being meticulous, being very, say, attentive to details, being, say, extremely, say, conscious about certain things. Then careful control of emotions, not to react always, say, uh, behave in a controlled manner. Then unrealistic expectations from, say, ourselves, or say our staff or our patients. We expect them to behave like we are doing it. Every individual is a different one. He or she will not behave in the same manner. Then marked dependence on individual performance and prestige. We actually set a bar for us ourselves, and we try to surpass that. We always want to surpass that, and sometimes we are not successful. We need to realize that every time we will not be able to raise the bar. मेरी अपनी एक आदत है, I'll just give you my habit. I raise a bar at that level and then I don't attempt that thing. I know that I've already gone beyond that. So it is a way to actually say denegate stress from your life. Or if you attempt that, or if you may have to attempt that, don't then keep, or say, make new milestone for yourself. Don't say do other things. Now uh, we sometimes may be very say uh, if I may say so, very soft or kind, but our staff may not be very, say, natural enough to that. But then what about women? These symptoms, are these for dentist men only? No, dentist women can't be immune for this. Are they more than men in this regard? So no, they are not. So let's see a different perspective, as we saw in the time management from Dr. Vandana, then new clinic guidelines from Dr. Rajat. So today, a new star speaker from our paid group only, Dr. Bhavna Lokwani. So I'll just stop my share so that I can say welcome her for her presentation today. Yes, Dr. Bhavna, the stage is all yours.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, sir, for giving me an opportunity. So, can you hear me?
Yes, just keep the microphone close to you, slightly
Yeah.
less audible.
Now it's better.
Yeah, much better.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for giving me an opportunity to cover the stress management for dentist women. So, how to manage daily stresses amongst the dentist women. I'll be covering this topic under two headings: stress management for women dentists and smart stress management tips for working dentist moms. Coming to the next slide. किसको ऐसी प्यारी स्माइल पसंद नहीं है, लेकिन आजकल की लाइफस्टाइल और वर्किंग पैटर्न्स में ये कहीं खो सी गई है, इसीलिए इसको बचाए रखना चाहिए. So we'll have a look on various types of stresses, its symptoms and management techniques to deal with so-called stress. Stress is the inevitable part of life for everyone. It has become a part and parcel of today's lifestyle. Prolonged periods of stress can also affect our emotional and physical well-being. As Sir said, it any stressful situation can trigger a cascade of stress hormones, which will produce these unmanaged stresses, such as symptoms such as headaches, digestive problems, sleep issues, getting irritable frequently, and decreased productivity and decreased concentration at work, problems with memory, weight gain और weight loss. नेक्स्ट, ये स्ट्रेसेस हमारे जिंदगी को अपसाइड डाउन कर देती है. इसका प्रॉपर सोल्यूशन नहीं निकाला तो ये बढ़ती ही जाएंगी. Therefore we have to learn how to manage it so that it does not create havoc in our health and should not take control of our life. Unfortunately, women tend to believe that they can just power through or put off self-care in order to keep up with the multiple responsibilities of home, work, and family. We dentist women, or for that matter, all the working females, are under constant stress in their lives in order to cope up with the challenges they face. Stress can be positive, keeping us alert, motivated, and ready to avoid the danger. It becomes negative when we continually face challenges without relief or relaxation between the stressors. When stress becomes chronic or excessive, it becomes harder to adapt and cope. And it creates a situation which is called as distress. As a result, a chronic stress that keeps building up, and it seems like a normal way of life for some women. Therefore, these women become overworked, and stress related tension, anxiety, irritation builds up, affecting the mood and physical well being. Stress can have greater impact at various levels. The symptoms of stresses can be covered under following headings: physical, emotional, mental, occupational, social, and spiritual symptoms. Physical symptoms include tension headaches, disturbed sleep, fatigue, pain in back and neck, overeating or undereating, and skin problems. Emotional stresses include anxiety, depression, anger, unhappiness, irritability, and feelings of being out of control, getting mood swings, and frustrated very easily. Emotional imbalance should be taken care of if it's creeping in. Mental stresses include forgetfulness, worry, we can't make right decisions or right judgments, getting negative thoughts, lack of focus and precision, and boredom. Professional occupational stress is high due to workload pressure, long working hours, and there occurs tense relationships sometimes with our patients and at times with our staff. There's poor concentration and less productivity at work, leading to unfulfilling job. The other occupational stressors are taking responsibility of patients' life and health, meeting patients' high expectations or demand, work urgencies, and staff management. Social stresses include less intimacy, having family problems, feeling of isolation and loneliness. Spiritual stresses include apathy, loss of meaning, emptiness, unforgiving, and doubt, guilt. Dentists are experiencing more physical and mental ill health as compared to other health professionals, owing presumably to the working environment and our posture. Now, coming to the various types of causes of stresses seen in women dentist. Men and women share many of the same sources of stress, such as financial matters, job security, health, and relationship issues. A little more unique to women are the many roles they take on, or they have to play many roles in their lives. As demands increase to fulfill these roles, women can feel overwhelmed with time pressures and unmet obligations and demands from everyone and at every phase of life. Thus, we need to find the best possible solutions and techniques to deal with such type of chronic stresses or distress. Dentists are typically perfectionists, as rightly said by Sir, who gets and we get easily frustrated when we don't reach our ideal therapeutic goal. Therefore, first we should put our own good health first, and then we'll be in a better position to take care for our family, manage our household chores, and keep up with the work and other responsibilities. Now, let's see the keys to de stress ourselves and create greater happiness. So, here are the some smart stress management tips for for working dentist women. First is get some exercise. Not only does exercise produces stress relieving hormones, but it gives a chunk of time or me time that gives you a time to discover yourself. You should have a exercise routine in which you can relax your mind. And if you don't have currently any exercise routine, get out a few times in a week, maybe 20 to 30 minutes of brisk walk, jogging, cycling, swimming, or any of your favorite exercise. Doing exercise will help you in a long run and has many benefits. Eat plenty of vegetable and fruits. Stress eating can be of over in may seem like a great idea when you feel anxious. It's always better to have a apple instead of bag of chips or chocolates or junk food. Stay hydrated. You should drink more of water instead of alcoholic beverages or soft drinks. That can be tempting distractions when you are stressed out. Your body will be better equipped to fight off the negative effects of stress if it's properly nourished and hydrated. Write it down. All the task which you have to do or which keeps worrying you should be written down on a paper or make a to-do list, so that and prioritize that list according to the needs, and it will reduce your stress to a higher level. Then take a break if you are feeling stressed continuously or for a longer period. Then you should take a long break, go for a vacation or spend time with your family, and or take a short breaks, go for a coffee with a friend and de-stress yourself. Then get organized. Whatever task you have, you should organize it. Otherwise the stress get aggravated while you see the piled paperwork or your messy kitchen or your remaining activities. Then talk to a friend. Always weigh out whatever stresses you have. Talk to your friend and try to find a solution. Probably reframe problems for the better management rather than keeping all the stress to yourself. Always build a strong support system. Have some people around whom you can share your problems, and that solid friendships help you feel warm, security, and connected. Keep a positive attitude. Always look for silver linings, a ray of positive hope in a negative situation. Make a gratitude journal and be contented with whatever you have. Let go of negatives. You know you cannot control all the things. Come out of the negative mindset. Don't put yourself down. Instead of getting anxious, angry, or aggressive or defensive, be assertive for your feelings, opinions, and beliefs. Always find ways to relax your mind. Practice mindful meditation or do deep breathing exercise, take more oxygen, and listen some good music and relax yourself. Develop new interests and hobbies which gives you inner happiness. Be creative and tune into your dreams. Be passionate about what you want to do in your life. When you are under stress, your body needs time for recovery. Therefore, give it enough rest and sleep it needs. Accept and care for yourself like you do it for others. Remember, you have to put on your oxygen mask first before you help others. Integrate love, work, and play. You should learn how to live fully in each area. Smile when you can give that happiness and smile to others. Why not to yourself? Smile is a beautiful thing you can give to yourself. वो कहते हैं ना, फेस पे स्माइल और जिंदगी में स्टाइल की कमी नहीं होनी चाहिए. Stresses occurring due to the personal and professional reason have a great negative impact on our life and on our work. Ideally, the personal and professional stress should never be carried to the workplace and home, respectively. But many a times it is not in our control. Therefore, we should try to maintain a work life balance to keep our mind stable and healthy. Coming to the other helpful hints, reflect on the sources of your stress. Can you offload any of these areas? If you haven't done it, why not? Look for meaning or purpose in what you decide to keep. Face change. The only constant in your life is change. Accept the change as a challenge and opportunity, but not as a threat. Sir always says, know yourself and try to convert your strengths into the opportunities. Focus on the present. You should not overthink about the past or should not worry more about the future. किसी ने सच ही कहा है, उस चीज के लिए कभी आंखें नम नहीं करने की जिसका डिसीजन हो चुका है या जिसको तुम ओवरटर्न नहीं कर सकते. Always listen to your mind, examine your self beliefs and how they influence on your life. Practice acceptance. Accept what you cannot change and change what can be changed. If you can't change the situation, change how you should react to it. So, reaction is in your hand, but the things are not in your control. Women will continue to experience stress throughout their lives. A personal wellness plan should be ready with built-in periods of recovery and self-care, which can help women manage stress and empower themselves to make healthy life changes. Women can manage stress by practicing healthy self-care strategies for coping up with stresses. Therefore, we should always try to release our stresses and relieve our mental, emotional stresses. Thank you, sir. And thank you, everyone, for patient hearing.
Thank you, Dr. Bhavna. It was a wonderful presentation. It was a fast one. You really sped through your, say, presentation. My laptop has started playing tricks again. So just give me a moment before I share my screen. Screen visible? Okay. So women are not immune from this. Like men, they are equally, say, at risk to all of us. So stress can be a big headache, big killer. And thanks, Dr. Bhavna, for a women dentist perspective on this. I'm sure men will also have a few tips to pick from your presentation. And we all are stressed, aren't we? So what else can be done actually? We have known what actually it does to men, what it does to women. What actually can say be done further? Let's have a quick look at it. So what are the various effects of stress on our body? We saw it. So headaches, irritability, anxiety, increased depression, hair loss, heartburn, insomnia, rapid breathing, fluctuating blood pressure, weakened immune system. I mentioned about cardiovascular attack, pounding heart, high BP, high sugar, high blood pressure, stomach ache. So tense muscles, fertility problems, and lower sex drive. These all are a part of stress actually, and they can be the ones which can make a difference in the individual's life. So what to do actually? What the effect does it make in our professional life? So let's see the professional thing. I discussed in short about it. So our performance is decreased, uh, our staff performance decreases, our own work output decreases, then efficacy all goes down, the errors start creeping up, the quality of work goes say down, the work life balance goes haywire, and we all actually start to have less interest at our workplace. दिल ही नहीं करता क्लिनिक जाने का, छोड़ यार आज क्लिनिक नहीं जाने का मन कर रहा मेरा. So people actually don't understand what is the problem. The problem is in hidden stress. Then increased absenteeism. जाके कौन सा पेशेंट आ जाना मेरे 9 बजे. That is the attitude we have actually sometime. Then decreased work satisfaction. When the output is less, efficiency is less, say we are not happy, we are not satisfied, obviously the satisfaction potential will go down massively. and that can be a big say further add on to our stress. Then when we don't actually work regularly, our workload starts increasing and our work demand also increases. There may be stress associated mishaps. Most of the negligence cases have been performed by stressful dentists. People actually say don't know where their attention is while doing the filing in a say upper or a lower molar in patient's mouth. Then because of that we become irritable. We actually start mishandling our staff. Our staff does not say get the due say returns from us in terms of appreciation, in terms of handling them, and we start to say then procrastinate, try to say postpone our work. Then psychological distress of our job, family life starts getting affected, professional growth. Obviously when you don't work, when you don't get output, when you don't get happiness in what you do, obviously professional growth will be stunted. And again many will we all have seen this clinic shutting down, and we don't know actually the reason what was. And sometimes the problem like anger is that sometimes it is not detected only. लोग मुंह पे बोलते हैं नहीं 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 मैं ठीक हूँ मैं नॉर्मल हूँ. They don't actually realize that stress has happened to them, and that is where early recognition is very important. Just like anger, we discussed in the anger management webinar, it also needs to be detected early. Our life is full of hassles, deadlines, schedules. We all can't escape from it. We all have frustrations, demands. Say we have to be say in a situation where comparison is made to with every one of us, or we start making that ourselves. And stress has become a way of life. The only thing is that we shouldn't let that go out of our hand. The stress should be at least in a positive direction, not in a negative direction. So already our life is so stressful. So and if we actually say imbalance it further, our whole life goes haywire. So what are the some possible solutions? We looked at the problem, we looked at the symptoms, we looked at the causes, we look at what all it can result in. So let's look at some solutions. So Dr. Carl Erbrecht, a management consultant from California, he's actually say defined 4 common types of stresses in his book 1979 book Stress and the Manager. And what are those 4 common types of stresses which dentists encounter? Time stress, anticipatory stress, situational stress, and counter stress. And there are different ways to manage each one of them. Of course, there can be further additions to this list, but I'm sticking with what Dr. Carl has mentioned, and I actually quite agree with it. And there might be other ways which I'll be discussing at the end as well. So what is the say way to manage time stress? The commonest answer which I always give is prioritize. Prioritize, we all know, is a matrix of urgent, important, not urgent but important, important but not urgent, and not important, not urgent at all. What all does fall in various matrix corners or sections? Number one, urgent and important one are the ones which have a deadline, which have a scheduling, which we can't actually say miss, or we should not miss, or we can't afford to miss actually. So sorry, the laptop again playing some tricks with me. Automatic changing of slides. I'm really sorry for that. Not being able to detect even my say uh, the laptop guy couldn't detect what the faults are currently in it. Whatever. The urgent and important are the ones with deadlines. Then not urgent but important are the biggest task in that is planning for me. And without say planning anything, you can't actually say create more things or more time for yourself. Then urgent but not important are the say things which we actually keep on scheduling, like a big bazaar sale or a Amazon Flipkart big billion days or a great Indian summer sale, which are very urgent but they're not important at all actually. And then not urgent, not important, we all know social media. The only thing to manage time is to give yourself more time. How you can do that? One of the early things I always mention, say start early, plan well, finish early and well. That has been my tagline or quote which I wrote first in 2015. That is the only way. You have to say no to less important tasks, and then you have to plan, really plan well, and then execute them as well. And for that you need to have DDWP. I always say determination, dedication, and willpower. Unless you have DDWP, you can't say expect to have discipline in your life. Then understand your abilities. You should know what you best do KYS, know yourself, as Dr. Bhavna also mentioned. So we ought to know ourselves. We have to avoid multitasking, which has become a fashion in today's life and today's lifestyle, I may say so. And then delaying those things, we discussed in, say, time management also, me and Dr. Vandana. Uh, we shouldn't be procrastinating certain things. We should be actually doing unpleasant things first of all, so that we are done with that unpleasant tasks firstly, and the rest to follow are the rosy ones. Then avoid overloading and avoid overworking in your clinic. Believe me, when you know at 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. in the evening that you still have 5 patients to go, that is a big stress. You can't actually say go about the task of satisfying all your patients in a good way. Always keep your evening or late schedule light. Do not keep on working till long. People are missing these sessions. They say we'll watch it later. That is procrastination. They said we patients are more important. Lockdown has ended. Again, you are not planning it well. It is your mistake. Even I have patients. Even we have lockdown in our say town, which has ended just now. So it does not mean, if you don't prioritize your say life or what you need to do in life, you cannot be actually a master of your time. And unless you are master of your time, you can't do so many things. I can tell you that. And the reason I am able to do many things, say people feel that I have more hours than someone, and the only reason I can say is better management of time. And the better management of time comes only if you start early and if you plan well. The execution has to be perfect. Yeah, people believe that if they work more hours, they'll have more revenue, and that is where they defy the say Pareto principle. They actually don't know what actually brings them more revenue. देन मैनेजिंग एंटीसिपेटरी स्ट्रेस. अगर वो हो गया तो, अगर वो होगा तो, that तो and क्या will always bring about problems in our life, and we actually need to control our thought process. There are certain things, as Dr. Bhavna also mentioned, certain decisions have been made. We don't really need to crib about it. We need to understand that our thought process is the biggest killer. एंड वो खाली छत देख के ना, जो बंदा उदास हो जाता है तो खाली लेट के छत देखता रहता है. छत will give you ideas sometimes, but more or less it will give you depression most of the time. So use positive visualization techniques. Don't look at negative things. Meditate if you can. I've not been a big fan of meditation myself. I rather prefer an exercise rather than meditation. But those who have been doing it, they actually vouch for it that it is much better than exercise. I'm not saying that it is not good. It is much better, but I'm not being able to master that. Then address your personal fears directly, face to face. Come to face with them. Then overcome fear of failure. The fear of failure can best be overcome only by one thing: practice, practice, practice. Unless you practice certain things again and again, you cannot actually overcome your fear of failure. So then managing situational stress. We need to be more self aware. किस चीज के कारण प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है? आज रात को आपने जाने से पहले अपॉइंटमेंट देखी, कल सुबह आपको कोई मटेरियल चाहिए या कुछ लैब का टाई अप है या कुछ इंस्ट्रूमेंट चाहिए जो शायद आपके पास सेट्स कम है, स्टरलाइज नहीं है, या सुबह सुबह आके आपको उस पेशेंट को हैंडल करना है. That will lead to a stress. Anticipate that. Situational stress is best anticipated by me making yourself self-aware. Then effective conflict resolution skills. You must have read that metrics. I am okay, you are okay. I am not okay, you are okay. I am okay, you are not okay, and I am not okay, you are not okay. These are the 4 metrics test. Again, a topic for something this is a very common topic done in conflict resolution management. So again, maybe some other day in detail I can take, because this is again say 1 hour presentation. Then learn how to think on your feet. Always be grounded. Never actually go away from what you actually want, and manage your emotions. And unless you start reacting, start acting rather than reacting, you can't manage your emotions fully. Then manage and counter stress. Only thing is that we need to understand that we need to have a greater emotional intelligence, and deep breathing exercises will help a lot, and showing empathy to the patient, showing a care factor to the patient will also say play a great role in that. Then stress management according to different situations. These were the say 4 types according to Dr. Carl. Now just managing different situation. If you have encounter an anxious and a fearful patient, which you are calm and cool in your clinic, but say your say patient is not, your patient is anxious, he is actually scared about what is to be done, how will it be done. This is the way you have to actually calm those things before you actually start that patient in the first sitting. That is where the importance of first consultation, the importance of say guiding the patient, that plays a big role in that part. Because if the patient is anxious, मेरे हार्ट की बीट तेज हो गई, मेरे को पसीना आ रहा है, मैं क्या करूं, all those things will actually say play a big role in actually making you stressful as well. Then managing a difficult and a dissatisfied patient. The biggest thing I always advise is start by listening. Listening is unspoken caring. Sir William Osler has made this statement long back. Control your emotions. Don't always say be in a hurry to reply back. Talk to the patient. Let the patient vent out first. Similar to an angry patient, identify possible situations and then work with the patient to solve the problem. We discussed some part of it in the management of angry patient. Then a common thing, managing the angry patient. We had a detailed session on it uh, last month only. And again, anticipation, watching for the warning signs, as I mentioned, apprehending it before it can happen, maintaining your composure, being sensitive to what patient says, and being understanding are a few things which you can actually say, which can play a big role in managing your angry patient very well. Then patient not paying the fees, again a big stressor for any practice. The common thing I always say is that the best thing is that always say analyze the situation first, comprehend all the things, convey to the patient, say have a say consent form signed along with the charges. And believe me, lot of headache can be taken care of if you actually say summarize, do a homework first and summarize all the things and convey to the patient. And once the patient knows that he has to pay this much amount at this sitting, all their problems are solved. But before that, you should be actually sure of what you are doing, what you are actually doing. There are many aspects in that, because these are the aspects which actually say go a long way. Because most of the time this is the most common complaint of every dentist, that we the patient didn't pay the charges at the end. Maybe the satisfaction quotient, maybe the patient didn't get the desired say end result what he or she wanted. Then there might be a posture rated stress. For that, we have to understand, we have to use support wherever needed, LS belt or said any kind of a physical support. Then magnification tools and a, irregular twisting of your say back or neck should not be detrimental, which are detrimental to our health, should not be done. Then we have to properly select a stool which can help us in say negating much of our backache or neck ache, like a Sally's stool. Then COVID ensured we have to make long appointments. If you have a history, if you especially you have a history, do not schedule long appointments. I'm saying it, if you have a history of backache, if you can't do that way, avoid long appointments, irrespective of whatever COVID situation says. Then take short breaks wherever you can actually to say soothe your back or neck, or say uh, avoid post-related stress. The problem is that posture, the stress has become a part of our life, and these everyday many factors, especially our patients, especially our say so many additional factors, staff, our associates, our lab, they keep on actually say adding those stress values in our life. And unless we learn to handle it well, we cannot actually say go about the task of managing stress well. And what works best for me will not best work for you. You have to identify what is your cause, and unless you know the cause, you can't arrive at the treatment. And that is the bottom line of today's presentation. So to keep stress, we have to recognize first what is the cause and then work on the best solution. Because we need to have a work-life balance in every phase of our life. Because everything has to have balance. Because ultimately, we need to realize that we have to have happiness in whatever we do. And if that is by doing good amount of work, yes, by happily by doing it in a say less stressful manner, so be it. So thank you so much for your patient hearing. Uh, You're all aware of my YouTube channel. My presentations are already being uploaded over it. Uh, you can subscribe to the channel if you have not already done by now. This is my contact. If you want to get in touch with me, since you are in paid group, you are already in touch with me, most of you. So upcoming sessions Friday, Saturday, and Monday. Tomorrow on negligence, Saturday on finance basics 5, and Monday role of feedback in communication. All start at 7:30. I know it will be difficult for me to handle in coming days since the lockdown instructions came today, and even I'll have to say keep working till 8 o'clock, or at least working till 7:30, because whenever I'm working, when I am taking the session, I have to wind up my OPD by 6:45 or 7, and yes, things are changing. As I was preparing for the presentation, a patient was here already. So already scheduled him to tomorrow. So uh, uh, thank you so much for your patient hearing. Please do post your feedback in whatever groups you are. I'll be welcoming all that with the equal hearty measures. So thank you so much once again, and I stopped my share for say questions. So you can, I'm just changing the settings. You can unmute yourselves, and you can ask any queries if there are. Let me see the chat. Yes, Romika ma'am, yoga and cycling are wonderful exercises for all age groups of women. Stress does create a havoc at times for women. Hormonal upsetting, yes. All those exercises along with meditation and positive attitude. मेरे को मैं meditation इसलिए नहीं पसंद क्योंकि मेरे को meditation करते हंसी आ जाती है, पता नहीं क्यों. No disrespect to anyone who does it, but पता नहीं मैं silence में बैठ नहीं सकता उस तरह. जब बैठता हूँ मेरे को हंसी आ जाती है. I know it is a wonderful thing. Uh, Thank you, Dr. Harshada. Uh, yes, thank you, Dr. Romika. Thank you, Dr. Bandana. Thank you. Thank you. Any queries, feel free to ask. Anyone wants to share anything, anyone wants to ask anything, please feel free to say, ask whatever you want to, or any point of view you want to say make, if I may, because again stress can be a long say big topic. I just try to limit it to dentist and dentist women by Dr. Bhavna, but yes, it can be endless, but again, as I say, somewhere you have to draw a line. You can go on for the presentation till 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, but then that is not the aim. The aim is to finish it within 45 to 60 minutes, and then wind up the queries in the next 15 minutes or so. So you can unmute yourself. I have not used the Sally's tool. I have a back injury, Shripal. I had a back injury. अगर मेरे को बैक इंजरी नहीं होती तो आप शायद ये सेशन सुन ना रहे होते. तो मैं MBA करता ना, शायद इस लाइन में आता ना. तो everything happens for a reason in life. I perform majority procedures via standing only. Majority, at least 80 to 85%, because of my back issues. I can't keep sitting for longer time, especially with the posture we have. So it is my back injury which is leading me to say taking all these sessions with all of you. Any more queries, or we end up the session? Dr. Bhavna, do you want to say anything? Any closing comments from you?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you guys for a wonderful presentation. See you tomorrow on medical legal aspects and negligence. I'll be taking a short part of negligence tomorrow, followed by finance basics on Saturday, part 5. So please do uh, uh, please do post your feedback in the group. Dr. Vandana, what do you want to say? You can unmute yourself.
It's not getting actually.
Sorry. The setting was changed, but it again, I don't know why my laptop starts playing tricks. Yes, please go on.
One second. I just wanted to ask you, sir. अभी जैसे बहुत we get a lot of comments like dentistry has no scope in the future. Many dentists are searching for another business, second business after Corona. So especially I've heard a lot, many of them speaking. Then how this stress can be managed? कि आगे चल के क्या होगा? Especially for the newer ones who are getting into practice now.
ये
Though not
ये
exactly
एंटीसिपेशन
new,
स्ट्रेस हुआ ना.
but
दिस इज एंटीसिपेशन स्ट्रेस. आगे चल के क्या होगा, डेंटिस्ट्री में फ्यूचर नहीं है तो. We discussed in say another in one of the sessions earlier that we are just treating 5% of the population. 95% of the Indian population is still untreated. Imagine the kind of scope we have. Look at the positive side. Look at the say scope. If even if I may say so, 20% more are say aware about their health, aware about their hygiene. Just 20% more. Imagine the kind of work we all will have. Then we'll have less dentists and more work. And that is only say presumption by people कि dentistry का scope नहीं है. I don't see so. I rather will say that dentistry के अच्छे दिन आने वाले हैं, और अच्छे दिन आने वाले हैं actually. Because the way dentistry is improvising, it is going to go miles. Because we are getting to see so many updates. Many actually digital scanner, which was supposed to be a dream by many, is now say a reality in many clinics in even one city. Earlier नॉर्थ इंडिया में एक होता था या एक स्टेट में एक होता था, अब एक शहर में कितने हो रहे हैं. So this is the thing actually which is say getting on. And dentistry में सारे प्रोफेशंस जो हैं कोविड ने खत्म किए हैं. आप डेंटिस्ट को बोलते हैं वी वर एटलीस्ट वर्किंग. यस, वी आर नॉट अलाउड टू वर्क इनिशियली बिकॉज ऑफ द फियर व्हिच वाज स्प्रेड. Last Monday, 10 days, 12 days back, ADA issued a statement to WHO. Sorry, but we respectfully disagree. The dentists are not actually say spreading zone for COVID. Then Israel is having a second wave of say corona, and they have actually say closed down the whole say country. Dentists are open and working full time. So remember, we all were given a list of so many equipments to invest. 90% did not invest in any one equipment. Leave aside the basic sanitization or everything, HEPA filters, UV lights, or whatever you can say. People, 90% didn't invest in even one, but they still started working. Did you listen to any cluster spread of through dentists? No, it did not happen. But then what was there? It was only anticipation. All those say webinars which happened on COVID, I will say they are all null and void now. They don't hold any value. ये करो, ऐसे काम करो, वैसे काम करो. All those guidelines are all gone. No, I won't say we were made a fool, but that was the situation at that time. We had to learn to handle it in that way because nobody knew about the virus. Even till date, we don't know much about the virus. But yes, people have now learned to live with corona. They know that certain things can people take precautions. People they act in a similar way, but it is not that they are actually sitting home because of the fear of corona. So अच्छे दिन dentistry के और आएंगे. Believe me, we will have more of a work and less of dentists in coming time. Just we only need to create awareness. We only need to do our bit. I am doing my bit to spread financial awareness. I know अभी कोई fruit नहीं मिल रहा है मुझे. Definitely मुझे fruit चाहिए भी नहीं है. I just want all dentists to be financially aware so that they are not cheated. It was my father's dream which I am fulfilling. Just an example I am giving. So अभी नहीं है, शायद 2 साल में लोग अवेयर होंगे. एक पागल था बोलता था फाइनेंस सीखो, शायद लोगों को असर हो जाए. So it is only a part of life which we actually say are living. So I don't think there is anything to worry about. Dr. Madhavi asks, I'm not practicing since last 6 months due to my responsibility towards my family. Sometimes it is really frustrating for me. How can I manage the stress? Ma'am, Dr. Bhavna also told many ways. I can tell you, the only thing is do not think about certain things which you can't change. And I always say, if anything apart from profession you have to choose, it is always family first. So nothing comes or goes beyond the family. And if sometimes you have to choose between your work and your family, you'll always pick your family. There is nothing two ways about it. But yes, think over the options which you can actually bide over, which the reasons which led you to not practice, or the reasons which you can make you go back to practice. Think over those options. Say bite over those things. Discuss with your spouse and arrive at a situation or a solution which gives you say more power. Or maybe if you want, you can discuss with me as well in personal chat. There is not an issue in that. So most welcome to do that. But the only thing is exercise is a big killer. meditation, exercise, music. These are the three things I have say. These are time tested, and these are the ones which actually will bide you over the bad times. I hope you get your answer. Okay. Anyone else, or we call it a day? Okay. Great. Thank you so much for being there. Uh, we meet tomorrow, 7:30, and I hope you find something carry home from mine and Dr. Bhavana's presentation. So thank you so much, and please do post your feedback. Uh, it will definitely be appreciated by me and my star speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and everyone.
Thank you.